Hello, good morning, or good afternoon for some. I hope you're all doing well. I was meant to have my video for the explaining how to build a Commissar, and it was going to be a little bit more depthy than usual, but had the slight hiccup, a family emergency this morning, so I've only actually just got back to my computer. So, yeah, haven't actually managed to get the build done. So I thought I would start today's stream by going over how to put everything together and sort of the things to consider, because there's no one path for Commissar now. This is one of the strengths of the update. Yes, I am getting my morning coffee in. And so my house that I live in, 3 floors. So the kids have the middle floor, then you got the ground floor and stuff. I'm on the toppest floor with my computer. I ran up the stairs and I'm already out of breath. God, I need to get back to running in the gym. It's been too many years since I've kept my fitness to that level. But anyway, so on the spreadsheet, if we start there, then we'll move over to here. I presented 3 potential skeletons. So we have the regular Commissar officer going in from just having a melee just for a little bit of parry in the early levels, moving into dual pistols and eventually master tactician to be a bit of a gunslinger officer support. So very similar to how Jay's built. Over here, I have a, so I went for high vol on that one, so you can use high vol pistols. On here, I went for another alternative, and I went with Imperial World. Now, the reason I picked Imperial World is just because you get the extra fellowship, and you can use it to build Resolve. Yes, that's it. Brain went blank for a second. But I built this with the option for plasma pistols. Now, plasma pistols are definitely weaker than late game foe hammers. However, the hilarious thing that you can do with plasma pistols is the fact that you can become a walking bomb. So, because the actual overheat mechanic itself, even if you very strictly focus on it, you don't actually build up worthwhile damage. It never matches a burst pistol or a foe hammer shotgun pistol. But what you can do as a master tactician, you can just use reckless rush to run into a group of enemies. Then you can overcharge, shoot different groups of enemies, or area attack different groups of enemies. And eventually you just explode because it does your full weapon damage. And I was using the explosions to kill trash mobs because you only take 25% with safety trading. Wipe out the trash mobs with my self-explosion while shooting the boss, which I was then also burst firing through the trash mobs to hit. However, I can understand if some people don't like that playstyle, so I've actually put in 2 options. So at level 12, instead of taking plasma weapon efficiency, you can take motivation, which is very good because you get a little bit of mobility after shooting. Instead of external power block, I had for the Emperor, so that when you have allies that you've done damage to, without all costs, they can get some of that health back. And summary execution. Summary execution is the most important thing, because it just doubles your buff. There's no reason not to take it. It's just double your buffs. And if you're not heavily fellowship focused, then you want to take it later. With level 22, because I was using pair holster, you don't really always need dual weapon combat, because if you do a wildfire burst, it will actually then give you a free second attack back that you could then use for the overcharge. And because a plasma pistol can make 2 shots anyway, you can have a normal burst and you still have that offhand hit without dual weapon fighting. So it was quite usable. But if you didn't want to go plasma pistol, pick up dual weapon combat. Yeah, for the Emperor, if you went the other way, or you can get into Let Them Know Fear if you've already got it. And then the other one that I had dual weapon combat, but then las weapon expert, because chances are you are definitely going to be using the quickfire las pistol, because having 1 AP burst, really, really good. Moving into the layer stuff, that, yeah, the enhanced splash area was actually very finicky. I thought it'd be just a bigger box, but no, they added on little squares around the edge, so it can sometimes be hard to line up. Ready to serve, like I said, you can build up some integrity with that. I put no heresy, and I didn't build into power armor because I didn't really see it that benefiting the gunslinger build, but a lot of people would want it. Let's have a little look over here. Saw your video of Jeff Gus, really enjoyed it. No, I'm glad. It was quite a bit of fun. I've got a similar one coming with First Door Guardsman, but we go into a slightly different approach for the same discussion. Yeah, and obviously he leads that one, so there's a little bit of difference there. Comes the plasma pistol is ridiculously potent. Yeah, it is, but not for the intended reason. Like I said, it's weaker than the faux hammer version using Bone Shatterer, but at the same time, because you can explode and become a walking bomb, it's actually useful in a different way. So I actually had a lot of fun with that. And that's actually why I spent most of my time in the testing patch with. The third option I added was if you wanted to start Commissar, again, you could go Hive World and you could build into weapon personalization to increase your rate of fire because you don't have access to rapid fire. And you're mostly a melee focused build. And the offhand pistol is more of a gimmick until you get to Act 4 where you get Art Militant's Cape, and then it becomes quite useful. So yeah, those are some of the options. So if we actually look at in-game, let's talk about the options, because obviously this is for the stream and it's not going to be the final build video. So Death World, definitely something you could do, especially if you're going the melee side, like say a warrior, because you get more strength, get more toughness, get more agility. Now you do lose some fellowship, but as long as you're going quite a few points into iconoclast, like at least 2, then it is actually still going to be quite useful, because you've got obviously the Bestower of Freedom, you've got Janus Warlord, and you've got Master of the Shadowy Expanse, which can buff up your fellowship a lot, even if you don't put any points into it. So that is an option. Voidborn you can do, but I don't like it. Other than be smart, it doesn't really have much use. And intelligence is just an infinitely worse stat than yeah, it's an infinitely worse stat than fellowship, because there's no real ways to build it. Oh, my Twitch has a guy trying to sell me stuff. Let me just, yep, we have banned that to buy. Oh, we had Sam who's joined as a member. No, make sure you link up your Discord to your to your YouTube account, because then you'll get access to the extra channels. And by just being a member, you'll be able to see the videos that come in early and some of the membership videos early. And whilst we're doing Dark Heresy, I am going to do members only streams, which is going to be about exploring mechanics and trying out things. So we'll be actually linking up with viewers and we'll all be sort of testing new things together. Because yeah, one of the most exciting times is that first month of a game, because I won't be an expert, no one knows anything, and we'll all be discovering things together and trading secrets as we learn it, and then trying to find out how we solve the puzzle of the game. But yeah, like I'm saying, for Voidborn, I feel like it doesn't add anything, because intelligence is just a worse stat than fellowship. There's no reason you'd want to switch it over. Hive World can be fun, so you can really stack fellowship, so it's very good for master tacticians. And yeah, and the fact that you can get weapon personalization, this is also really big for non-soldier builds, because it's the only way you can get rate of fire increases and armor pen increases. Camaraderie is useful for story stuff, because yeah, willpower, they're Act 3 and Act 4. If you can get camaraderie before then, this is an incredibly helpful talent for role-playing purposes. Outnumber, you can take it or leave it. It depends if you're going to be in melee. Helping Hand, take it or leave it. It's like, yeah, it's very gimmicky. Fresh Start, I, again, take it or leave it. Like, I very, very rarely get into situations where those 3 talents are very useful. Forge World, obviously, if you want to get subskin armor or locomotive systems, they are very good, but I don't really build hard into agility or toughness for any of them. And the other talents, they're, yeah, again, intelligence worse than fellowship, so calculated relations isn't really going to be the one. Persistence of the Forge, maybe, but chances are you're going to kill things, you're not going to be taking many hits. And then, yeah, the others, you're not, I guess, if you're going the plasma build, pinnacle of weaponry, but you're adding int. And again, int's not a good or supported stat, so it's, yeah, I don't know, I don't feel like Forge is the one. Imperial World, great. You can get a plus 10 to any stat, besides obviously your ballistic or weapon skills. That's really good. Ready to Serve, yep, that's also really good for the fact that you're going to be shooting allies, so you can give them extra resolve when you shoot them. I think it works. Actually, I do need to test if it does work at all costs. But if you're getting buffs from allies that way, or if you go the Master Tactician route, then you'll definitely be using that, so that's quite good. A bad start for the Emperor, I personally don't get much use out of it, but it's good. If things are going wrong, this helps. So, and it's very thematic to a Commissar. Doing my part, yep, if you're not overlapping archetypes, again, very good. No heresy if you're not building into Lorzinos. It's just free armor pen and critical hit chance, so it's actually very, very powerful. And Stronger Together, yeah, it just boosts ally stats. It's good. Like, if you're boosting your fellowship, giving them 5 points fellowship, it can help build their resolve. And because you get lots of other colony buffs, like there's one of the St. Cognatius's buffs that you get that will give you another +5, so combine that, yep, that's helpful. Fortress World, also fantastic. Yeah, that first -5 perception kind of sucks, but Never Stop Shooting works for melee and range. So at the time the Fortress World character kills an enemy, they get +10 stacks Never Stop Shooting. At the start of their turn, there is stacks Never Stop Shooting chance that their first attack this round will cost 0 AP and will not count that effect. So that's very, very strong. Combat Addict. Oh, first all guardsman, he's coming in for a follow. Hello. Thanks for following up. I hope you're enjoying your stream, because I was just hanging in there myself. But yeah, no, so Combat Addict, like when you're in combat, free ballistic skill, it's good. Free perception, fantastic. Free willpower, take it or leave it, doesn't matter. And the minuses that you get out of combat, it's not really stats that you kind of use that much. Yeah, the fellowship going down, but like I said, there are so many free ways to get fellowship. It's just pure bonus. Hail of Steel, if you're doing burst fire, fantastic. Like, your burst fires just get you more dodge, which is really, really good. And you get more stacks Never Stop Shooting, so again, really, really good. Familiar Kickback, so when you get extra turns, this is increasing your chance of, well, getting more free turns. So, like this, if you say bring it down, do a bunch of shots, then you find a Stour, chances are you've then got a free attack. So it's really good for your attack economy. And then on your main turn, you'll have another free attack, so you can easily be generating 2 or more free attacks. So yeah, pretty good. Hello, fellow Chaosites. God, funny enough, so First Hall Guardsman was talking about how people make custom OC Do Not Steal chapters, and everyone's talking about Raven Guard, and it's like, yeah, mine be Raven Guard. I think because my name is based on the Star Wars character, the canon, like his followers that followed him after his death, they were called the Revenites. But we're not followers, and we're not, yeah, I'm a servant leader, I'm not a leader. We all work together to enjoy this game. So yeah, starting a cult, not really my thing. But yeah, Spare Magazine, fantastic for, well, for Officer and for Warrior, because it's a free reload. And it's the only way to get your reload cost down if you're not a soldier. And Never Stop Believing. So a lot of people misunderstand this one. So when all stacks Never Stop Believing should be lost, they become willpower divided by 3 instead. That's not willpower bonus, that's willpower. So even if you only have 30 willpower, that's still 10 stacks. So yeah, this is very, very good. So depending on where you're going, depends what you want to do it. Like Hive World, good. Imperial World, good. Death World, good. Fortress World, good. So no matter how you build your Commissar, all of these worlds are good. Especially, like, don't worry about the minus to Fellowship, because the minuses, they're all going to go good. Hello, Cod. How are you doing? I hope you're all having a good day. We are just going through explaining how to build a Commissar, because my video is being delayed because I had a family emergency this morning. So, say if I wanted to go for an officer, Hive World or maybe Imperial World would be where I'd go, because shooting is less important to me, and Death World I don't really have access to early. So yeah, if I was going soldier, now again, Death World I could, because we do get Relished Anguish in Act 1, but I don't really see any benefit from these talents here. So I'd probably go Hive, Imperial or Fortress. If I was going Warrior, Blood Ravens is not counting. Blood Ravens. But yeah, if I was going Warrior, then yep, Death World, very viable. Very, very, very viable. And I think that's what the default Commissar is. Hive World, again, very viable because you can increase your rate of fire. Forge World on the Warrior version, yes, you could, because especially if you take subskin armor, or even Locomotive System if you're going agility based. Imperial World, yep, also very good. And once again, yeah, Fortress World, because again, it gets you, it's free attacks. It works with melee or range. So yeah, because it's the first attack. So even though it's called Never Stop Shooting, they could call it Never Stop Attacking, and it's the same thing. So say I wanted to go Fortress World because I wanted to increase my attack economy. I'm going to be a combat Commissar. So then we obviously get the best strip in the fucking game. Look at my man's. We need to get the. Ooh. See, the thing is with Commissar, everything looks good. What do I want when everything is fantastic? Ooh, 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 but also ooh. Yes. So yes, so Commissar at all costs. So this, they've gone, I think they've gone rid of that plus 100. So it's just a Commissar's coercion percentage now. Iconic Sidearm obviously is ballistic score and fellowship. So yeah, it's pretty good. So they put 2 times the Commissar's ballistic skill bonus, but I believe it's actually ballistic skill times fellowship bonus. But yeah, because one of the devs in the Discords was saying that some of these were wrong. But yeah, Bliss Skill, Fellowship. So again, you can counteract some of that -5 Fellowship we were seeing. And then yes, so double pistols, very viable here. Let them know fear. Yep, very useful to get some resolve bonus. So if you go Master Tactician or just helping allies get resolve, very good for momentum. First time catching you live. Really appreciate your work on the build guide. No, thank you for just stopping by and obviously for the donation. Always helpful to keep the channel going. I've been joking to, so I never intended to monetize the YouTube when I first started, but it's kind of building up to it. And now that it's kind of consumed my entire life, I've started putting in monetization incentives for going into Stark Heresy. I've been joking with, obviously, First Door Guardsman and Jefficus when we've done some collabs, that if I could just make 2k a month off YouTube, I'm moving to Thailand and getting out of the prison colony known as England, and I'll do it full time. But then so motivation they've actually just fixed because it didn't list the full features. So when I was playing on the test version, I didn't know that this is what it did. But the Commissar's MP is increased by 1 plus character level divided by 10. Look at this boy go, Sonic the Hedgehog. All allies on their turn 2 radius around the Commissar also gain 1 plus characters level MP. So you can really boost up your allies. And once per round, after the Commissar performs an attack with a pistol, they get Fellowship bonus divided by 2 NP. That's fucking huge. So if you've got, say, 40, that's 2 MP after you shoot. Not as good at the start, but when you get to 100, that's like 5 free cells after shooting. And if you're playing Arc Militant, that's really good. And obviously for the Emperor, less valuable since the nerf to at all costs. But yeah, so one of the things that I never cover in my videos, by the way, is what to pick here. The reason I don't tell people what to pick, even though there's one option that I consider the best, is precisely because this impacts your story. And I don't ever want to tell people how to play the game. Like, sure, I'll do a build guide and I'll guide you. That's fine. Coaching and guiding and telling people what to do, very different things. Like, if someone says to me, what meta build should I play? I can't engage with that. What I will say is, tell me what idea you have and we'll see how we can get there. Because no matter what, we're going to find a way to beat the game in unfair, no matter what idea you want. Like, you want to do a melee only operative, we can do it. Like, it's going to be harder, but we can do it. You deserve funds due to viewers made. Ah, thanks. How do you judge when it's worth to use at all costs? I give allies temporary HP. So Relished Anguish will build temporary HP, Invigorating Resolve will build temporary HP, stuff like Warrior can do it naturally, some officer buffs will give temporary HP. Basically, if my allies have more than 100% health, I just shoot them in the back so it's free buffs. Or if they're about to die, I shoot them first to give the party free buffs. Like, if I know for a fact, before that character acts, he is going to die, I'm just like, well, sorry boys, the team needs this, like... But, yeah, so all of our stuff, so you could pick, obviously, Demolition, Refine, Lodge, your roleplay choices, but I picked this one. So your name became synonymous for loyalty and valor, and your visage, yep, so this one, it's good. So again, with the Darkest Hour, it's going to be cosplay. Now, I would pick that one just because I don't use athletics. Awareness, I'm probably going to build into if I go soldier, whereas persuasion... Whilst I probably wouldn't do it, I don't want them to call me a coward either. But yeah, you're attacked by a group of renegade guardsmen during a mutiny and were beaten half to death. That's just pure this is why I shoot people. Like, so yeah, so if we look at the archetypes here, every single one of them is viable for Commissar, though Operative does feel like the worst choice. Like I said, Intelligence, not the best stat to raise, but you can easily do them all. So for this example, where we're going, I'm going to go Soldier. And the reason I'm going Soldier is because Arc Militant really builds really well into it, because obviously we can get Reckless Rush, Devastating Attack, and Wildfire. They're all really, really good. You could build into the stances. Now, the reason I don't like the stances is they are really good on paper, because, like, yeah, again, stuff like dodge reduction, parry reduction, this activates some of your damage talents. Ignoring the enemy's cover, there's all fantastic stuff. And your critical score hits, the Arc Militant's critical damage on those attacks reduced by half. And if you have... yeah, if you have Sax Volatility, you maximize damage, but you halve your potential damage. So in practice, I find that this just always lowers your damage, especially if you guarantee crits. And because we're going to be using the Commissar's cap with high, probably ally buffs, chances are this is not going to work for us. And cautious approach that, yeah, again, more dodge and parry. On paper, very good. And, yeah, and if you have 4 stacks versatility, removing these negative effects, also really good. But the problem is there's no encounters we need either of them. Like, the game isn't hard enough to justify the loss and damage. So sometimes people misunderstand me when I'm like, yeah, those are terrible, because that's a blanket, that's an objective statement. When I'm saying terrible, I'm just saying it's terrible. I haven't rationalized it or given the caveat of the game doesn't require it, so lowering your damage isn't worth it, in my opinion. That's what I should be saying, in my opinion. Kick, because I'm not building in strength, isn't the best on what I'm doing, but with buffs, it's probably going to work. So yeah, that's why it's always good. And there's so many good talents. Everything about Arc Militant's very good. So because I'm going to be probably building a ranged Commissar, ballistic skill is obviously the most important thing to... Can I use your old Pyro Warrior build in 1.5? And if so, what do I have to change? Oh, well, we'll quickly pause what I'm doing here. I'll open my community tab, which I don't know why I closed it. My old Pyro build is still on the sheet, and it's updated for 1.5. All you have to do is drop the bits that you don't want to use. So my very, 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 very first run in the game was the Pyromancer Berserker. So this version, I've updated it to use heavy armor and shields. But if you want to do the Death Wild two-handed like I did, just change it. Like you just drop this talent, and then you just put something else there that you like. You can move something up or move something around. You can even put in Relentless Blaze there. Just drop that. This is just it's a really strong build. It works if you want to use shields. It works if you want to use dual melee. It works if you want to use two-handers. So yeah, no matter what. It's going to be good. Oh, it's because I had moved the sheet over here. I hadn't closed it. It's good talent if you're doing more casual play for you. It's great buffer for bad talent. Yeah, it's one of those things. Nothing in the game is truly terrible other than operative. But even then, it's usable. So it's... Yeah, I need to learn to be way more careful when I use comedic effect to enhance my point. When I say something's trash, I don't mean it's trash. I mean it's not optimal for what I want to do in this scenario. I should really learn to do that. But yes, because I'm playing soldier. Yes, soldier. Perception would be nice. Agility is going to be important to not get shot because we're not building into toughness. And so we're probably going to want to either get our fellowship up to 40 because we are going to level perception, but we're not going to level fellowship. Or I could do this, but like I said, I do plan on leveling perception on this build. So yeah. And this is going to be the never stop shooting one. Technically, I could even do this. Not worry about... So I've got that, so I'll get the 2 stacks from Never Stop Believing. So I'll have 20 stacks at the end of each turn. And I'll obviously guarantee that I'm going to land some hits. But because I don't really worry about Fellowship, or potentially I could even do this. And But all 3 are perfectly viable. Because again, I'm probably going to get Icon Class 2. So that's going to be... yeah, so we're going to get 2 of those ranks extra for Fellowship. So potentially, yeah, we'll get a little bit there. We'll get Bestower of Freedom. We'll get Shadow Master of the Shadow Expand. So we can easily get another 25. So that could come up to 60. Commissar's cap, 70. Easy. Yeah, I listened to your opinion and lost the stance. Not having my damage half is definitely better. Yeah, so it's hard, but it's guaranteed above. So there are scenarios where that is good. So say you're using the Santic Staff that could give you a roll of 1 to 5,000. Guaranteeing 2,500 is good. But I feel like until we get extra turns removed, like say we had no extra turns and officers just provided buffs, I would definitely use the stances then because I want to guarantee that I'm going to survive. If combat went on more than a single turn, that's where they get better. So yep, if I did that, this still all perfectly viable. Ship, I got given the extra nice ship for our cat gave me this for being a good boy. Or if you pre-order, you can get it. I actually bought this version myself because I got the digital upgrade because my friend bought me the game. Because basically, my friend bought the game, and once I started enjoying it, I bought the upgrade because I was like, yeah, I feel like they should have some of my money. I like it because it's cool to fire some. But yeah, so then this would be now a good start run. Wilbur, I like it. Yeah, this would now be a good start run for going in as a soldier commissar. And as you can see, like, this, I don't min-max the stats too much, because I know gear and passive buffs that I get from the colony talent, it's going to normalize that anyway. I don't need to worry too much about this stuff. Like, it's not like Wrath of the Righteous, where if you're like, oh, 100 AC, oh, are you trying to lose? Sort of thing. You don't need to worry too hard, because officer buffs will carry a lot of this. But, yeah, so then if I'm thinking about the talents... So now that we've kind of built our characters together, if I then want to think about the talent, so I've gone Fortress World, so I know that I'm probably... Combat Addict's probably going to be good. Hail of Steel's probably going to be good. Familiar Kickback's probably going to be good. Don't need to prioritize spare magazine, because I'll probably get Rapid Reload, but Never Stop Believing, yeah, I want to get that early. Then if I look at soldier talents, let's have a look. So soldier, camaraderie could be useful, but I'm not using a pet, so maybe I'm not always going to be next to allies. So good for late game, maybe not the best for early game, or maybe it is. Maybe standing next to them is going to be what I want to do. Fired up, if I'm using burst fire, really good. If I'm not as good. Yeah, you don't actually need builds if you overbuff. So like people in the build Discord will prove all the time you don't need builds if you just use buffs. Rack and Ruin, very good. So if you read Rack and Ruin and enough bullets for everyone, at a glance, enough bullets for everyone looks better, because it's like the second attack in turn bonus, whereas the other one is attack 3 enemies and then you get a bonus. Until you realize enough bullets is enemies you haven't attacked this turn on a second attack. And Rack and Ruin it's just every time you hit 3 people, you get a buff on the next attack. So you can actually use this multiple times. So Rack and Ruin is definitely way more valuable. Rapid Reload is good. Yep, 2 AP to reloads. When the reload costs 3, dropping that down to 1, very important. And then you can use Portive Manipulators, drop it to 0. So yeah, that's going to be very good. Especially if I'm emptying magazines and in single burst fire. Unpredictable, critical hit chance, good early game, bad late game, because I've got 100% crit anyway. Combat Medicae would have been useful if I don't just take 1 point into Medicae. So, Demolition Engineer, yep, that's very good if I'm going for area weapons. Forewarning, I'm probably never going to control shot. I'm a Commissar, I want to shoot for allies. Fortress, yep, good if I'm in cover, but is it as important as this bonus from shooting people? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Integrity, yep, extra bliss skill MP might be good, but do I need to prioritize that over, say, point blank if I'm using shotgun pistols? Because maybe armor penetration is going to be doing a lot more for me. Muzzle velocity, that's a good early one if I'm using high rate of fire. Have you ever thought about a flamethrower build? Worth it when we have arbitrator in their shotguns. I use flamethrower builds my bolter priest because the buffs do work there. I will cover priest. That is actually one of the archetypes I'm really happy about. Swift slaughter, yep. You get your main buff of soldier on 2 kills instead of 3. Yep. It's you who should have it. But yeah, tactical disengage. Dude, so many people have said that you did so much free testing for Owlcat, you should get paid. But no, I like our relationship that we have at the moment. But maybe one day they'll sponsor me. I just need to get to a big enough size where they want me to glaze their game. So at the moment, yes, I'm very positive of Rogue Trader because of their engagement. But who knows? Maybe Dark Heresy will be terrible and I'll be shit talking it. And they'll be like, hey, here's some money. Stop being so negative. And I'll be like, okay. Yeah, tactical disengage. Yeah, if I'm using dash, that's great. But if I'm building Arc Militant, not so good. Have you thought about doing a web plus flamer build? Now that's an interesting topic. Web and flamer when you can boost it by 30%. If I wanted to do a soldier priest where no bolters, then maybe a webber is a good secondary there. No, 100% to try and make the flamer the main weapon. Tenderize, yep, that could be good. But in testing, as far as I'm aware, it's only the first shot on a burst, so I'd have to test again. But yeah, Tenderize is only good if you're just like spamming shotgun shots. Trace Trajectory, yeah, I got that removed from all far. I made them remove it, so that's my opinion on that. Pre-soldier with Flamer is very strong. Yeah, it's just, my problem isn't that Flamer isn't strong, it's just that shotguns and bolters are stronger. So it makes it very hard that if you're not using a priest to justify. But if you are using a priest, fantastic. Because I'm the pyromancy guy. I like fire. Like, if if I play Killing Floor, I pick Pyro. If I play any game with any magic caster, they got a Pyromancy, I'm doing it. Like my whole thing was doing PvP with Pyromancy because people said it was trash PvP in Dark Souls, and I was just like, no. But yeah, I'm filtering fire. Yep, using rep fire. That's good. So that's these are going to be things I'm going to be considering going into it. Alacrity again, if using high burst fire, it might be good, but that overlaps with Hail of Steel. If I have Hail of Steel, I don't need Alacrity. It does the same thing. But maybe I do get it and test see if they stack. Ooh, 2% dodge per shot, 2% dodge per... But again, that's stuff you have to test. Honestly, I've never tested that. That's only just like, oh my god, we're changing the meta, boys. And girls, if you exist. You're all feds and you're nothing but feds. But yes, Arc Militant, always ready. Yep, I'm going to get that because having the 2 stacks versatility. Yep. Broad Expertise, yeah, if I wanted to do melee with my build, then yep, that's going to be very good. Same with Arms Master. The two, I always feel like these were underrated ones because I underrated them when I was first building Ulfa, and now they're the 2 most important ones for him. But yeah, stuff like Exploit Weakness Preferred Targets and Contempt for the Weak, they're your damage talents to increase. But to use them, we need to get Dismantle and Distract. And even one of the stances actually, the Confident Approach will actually activate all your damage talents. So if you don't have Dismantle or Distract or any way to activate your damage talents, then you need the stances because then... it will activate all your damage talents. So if you find that you're never getting Preferred Weakness, Exploit Weakness, or Contempt for the Weak active, then take Confident Approach, and then suddenly it'll activate them all. Yeah, this is why I build into like Dismantle and Distract. I don't really ever pick up Ingenious, and Focal Point I only tend to pick up on if I know I'm going to be doing a heavy taunt build somewhere in the party. Flash Fire is fantastic. But yeah, these are all the things that we consider. And then if we look at the Exemplar talents, yeah, so Exemplar, I like getting Eager for Battle because I abuse Hyper Turn 1, so having an extra, technically 4 AP on every character is very important because Finest Hour, you'll get 2 AP, and your main turn, you'll get 2 AP. So it's 4 AP for everyone that picks it extra in turn 1. And if I'm 1 turn in combat, that 4 AP is potentially 4 attacks. So yeah, that's important to me. Extermination, yep, high. If you're doing a high number of attacks, very good. Like, it's MVP on a Blade Dancer. Degrade Defense, best talent in the game. It's so broken and overpowered. As long as it exists, there's no reason not to pick this. Death Dealer, Sniper, because you need to increase your rate of fire. Extra single shots for anyone else, not exactly the most worth. So, yes. Eager Subordinates, good if you give extra turns. Firebrand, good if you give extra turns. Know-It-All can be good for an imp build. Line Influence can be good for an assassin or a buffer psyker. Mostly assassins. Out of My Way, hilarious talent, but if you kill things, you don't get the MP, which kind of sucks. Peak Condition, good if you want to go into power or heavy armor, or if you're stacking high toughness. Yep, great for melee. Whereas for us, a lot of this stuff we're not really going to use. Like, again, I need to test vital points more because I don't know if it's even working properly. Tricky defense, stuff like that, I don't really rate them. Same with Revenge. Like, Revenge could be really useful, say a Blade Dancer, but I feel like it doesn't really do enough to justify it over other options. Like Deadly Aim I like, but even then I know you're probably never going to get more than 20% out of that, so that's something to keep in mind when you're building it. Same with Cataclysm. Chances are, depending on how many enemies in the combat, you might not actually get much out of that. Same Critical Velocity, unless you're like stacking 500% dodge, which you can do with like Mirashi. Yeah, but even then he doesn't really stick to that because he's using the Death Aura build. So those are all things to keep in consideration when you start going through the building. I just realized that these 2 lines are not separated properly because of how it got imported from my offline sheet, and it's having to fix that stuff. Oh my god. All right. We are not going to do a data entry stream. Oh, speaking of data entry, so we do have our loot tables, but some of it isn't fully updated. So because it's not all fully updated and I have to go through every single page and check every item drop in the game to confirm it's all in there, I didn't want to do that just now. So what I've done is I've actually updated all of the vendor tables. So now this 100% is where to get all the items. But because they should all be in here. They might not be. The actual descriptions of what they do is over here. So, yeah. Yes, it's the same colony projects. So I was using the Russian community's layout. And because I was using their layout, because one of their chaps had sent it to me, I got some very angry messages from people in the Russian community saying I stole their spreadsheet when I had literally just taken their table layout. So I was like, cool, I'll remove it because all of this data, I entered this line by line myself because I don't know how to export it from game. So I was like, okay, I'll redo the layout so it doesn't look like a spyware. Like, it's cool. It's the same coronation stuff I've got in there. Space resources we've got updated. This is my space route for the way that they've changed Navy rep as well, because I like to get the Navy ship. And yes, this is still in progress. I think this would make Operative overpowered. I need to dial it back. I need to dial that back, but that's something I'm working on for 1.6. But this has not been presented to developers because that all that stuff is too strong. it's too strong. I start strong and then I nerf it myself before I present the idea. But yes, that's how we build a Commissar. So those are all the considerations. So if we take a little look over to here, so I've shown you all the different options, and out of those options, for this officer, I went Hive World, even though I could have picked Imperial or Fortress. So Hive World is strictly because that's the roleplay I wanted. For the Tier 2, Grand Strategist could have been picked. Master Tactician's also very good. Or even Overseer would have been usable. And you could have even gone Overseer Eagle, because Overseer Eagle will help you pick off trash mobs and then apply buffs to the team. And yeah, it could have been done, or Servo Skull. But I decided to go Master Tactician because I wanted to make a Gunslinger Commissar. So that's why that one's that. Then for my soldier, I actually built a Fortress world, the one we were just putting together. But this one is an Imperial world that uses plasma. If you don't use plasma, you can rebuild it. So the reason I picked Imperial world for this one is there are so many talents that I wanted to get early. I wasn't building into the Fortress world stuff. So you'd have to change things to get in. So instead of picking motivation here, maybe I would take the Never Stop Believing here. And then instead of for the Emperor, maybe I take Hail of Steel here. And then instead of Las Weapon Expert, we take Familiar Kickback. And then instead of Better to Die for the Emperor, I then take something else over here. So yeah, these are all other ways you can do it. Maybe Combat Addict. So, and then the rest are still fine. But yeah, that's ways that you can do it. And again, here I had done a Hive World because I wanted to get the extra arm pen and rate of fire on the pistol. I built this into bolter weapons, but you could entirely drop the bolter weapon thing and not use bolter weapons and go for a different thing. You could go Death World or Forge World. They're all viable options. You could even go Forge World and then go to plasma weapons. But yes, that's how you get that all together and how we build up a Commissar. And like I said, these are skeletons. These are designed for you guys to change them. This isn't one-to-one. The best way to build. There's a reason I don't clickbait my videos like that, because I don't believe that. And if I don't believe that, I'm not going to say that. These skeletons are meant to, for your first blind play, you should be able to take this build, play on unfair, win, and then when you start again, you make the edits yourself and see what you want to customize. I really liked your Arbitrator Warrior Tank Overseer. Thank you for the builds. Oh, no, you're welcome. Yeah, I get more builds out quicker than anything else. So what some of the people in the build community, we're trying to come up with some ideas that we can send Alcat for how they could rework the noble base class. So one of the guys has started that. I'm going to jump in on his bandwagon and give him my feedback and see if we can start getting that to the developers, because Noble needs rework. It's really been left behind, which is hilarious because Noble has the most story interactions of any origin, but it has the least impactful class. But yeah, Paw Patrol, by the way, fantastic build. I love that too. So when are you making Melee Argenta? Rock Swords work with rate of fire gear. You just give her Rock Swords and Void Veteran boots and we have Melee Argenta. Reverend, I'm currently using a Pyro Berserker. How would you rate it? It was my first run. It was literally the first build I ever made, and I love it. It's not my strongest, but I love it. It's been power crept quite a lot, but still love it. I actually ran it as, so this one is Sword and Shield, well, Axe and Shield. But you could use 2 axes, or you could use a 2-handed axe and change it. So I think it's a very strong build. Especially the fact that these 2 talents, Degrade, Defense, and Destroyer, it makes it one of the strongest melee builds possible just because of those 2 talents. Like, the rest of that doesn't even matter compared to just how strong these 2 together are. Maybe Reckless Rush and All Out. But yeah, that'll bring that all together. So let's actually get on to continuing where we were on the main Commissar run.